Mr. Meredith, what has been the biggest lesson a coach has taught you over your football career and during your coaching career, man?
Let me see. That's a good one. Let me think for a minute. As far as the biggest lesson I've learned, I'm not quite sure, but I know a quote from my coach that always stuck to me. It was my coach in college when I played for the Gamecocks. His name was John Hunt. He used to always say, you don't come out of the game unless a bone's sticking out. And like I live, and I live my whole career on that motto. It's like if I don't have a bone sticking out, if nothing is broken, I'm still gonna play. Like I'm gonna find a way to push through it. I'm gonna find a way to, find a way to finish. And I feel like that little lesson, even though it was, in football, it's gonna carry me throughout my life. So it's like no matter bad situation happen, you push through it. Like I don't know if he meant it that way or if he meant it as a play in ways, but like now as a grown up, as a grown man, a father, a husband, like I see exactly what he was meant, what I took from it. So. And I tell my kids the same thing. I said, man, ain't nothing wrong with you. Coach, my leg hurt. Man, ain't nothing wrong with you. You better get up and don't start that stuff. You see them limping. Like a lot of the big trend in high school is when you get beat, you start limping or grabbing something. Like, nah, ain't nothing wrong with you. Get up, man. You all right.
So it's looking like the first overall pick's going to go to the Jets. And you think Trevor Lawrence is going to go to the Jets, #1 overall. Mr. Meredith, you got the floor, man.
#1 pick? Yeah, I got to go. I'm a Gamecock, man. I know my Gamecock alumni and fan base is going to be mad at me, but Trevor Lawrence is a special quarterback, man. He looks different, man. Like I've never seen a kid. Well, I ain't going to say I've never seen it, but to be 6'6", 230 pounds, big arm, consistent, I mean, he's a great kid. He stands up for, I saw him stand up for Black Lives Matter movement. He's an advocate, he's a good kid overall. So for him to lead your franchise, man, like you'll be lucky to have a kid like that lead your franchise.
For sure, man. Mr. Bergman, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I concur. He's special. He's sunshine, he's got the whole package. And I mean that as a compliment, not an insult, but he is Hollywood. He is polished. He is articulate. He is smart. He is dashing looking. But having said all that, he does have an amazing quality of character, which I think is going to take his abilities as a quarterback and let him really, take off. And because that attitude is a lot. And I don't want to mention names. No, I'll mention the name because it's a great ending and a great story, okay? I remember I was living in San Diego when San Diego recruited Ryan Leaf, right? #1 choice. And Ryan was coming out of Washington State. And but I didn't like the kid. I knew the Pac-12, the Pac really well then. And I was like, man, everything I've seen about this kid is super talented, but his attitude sucks, And he got to San Diego, and it was proven to be true. And he just completely self-destructed. And ultimately, he ended up in prison. And it was kind of funny because I saw a talk show I was watching. I can't remember what it was. It was like maybe Ellen DeGeneres or something. And this was like a couple of years ago. And the next thing I know, they said, next up is Brian Leaf. I'm like, what? I mean, that guy? Oh, my God. I knew he was in prison for drug charges and other stuff, but what the heck? And he comes out, man, and he sits down, and I see this guy I'd never seen before. And he tells his story. And he was talking about being in prison with a cellmate. And he was just all into himself as usual. Woe is me. Everybody's unfair. I'm a victim of everything. And the cellmate is like, dude, you're like the most selfish person I have ever met in my life. Do something for somebody else. And he's like, what? He goes, I teach prisoners how to read in the library. why don't you come with me and work with some of the guys in here and teach them how to read? You got a college degree. And he's like, okay. So he does that. And he literally has this epiphany that was the first time in his life, he said this, that I didn't do something for Ryan Leaf. And it transformed him. And he did his time. He went through rehab. He created a foundation. And now he's helping prisoners and others in transition with his foundation. And I was just blown away, because I never wanted to meet Ryan Leaf in my life. I'd love to meet him right now. I mean, his story is so valuable to me because he's found character. And I think Trevor's got that kind of character. And I think, and now you combine it with his insane skills. The Jets take him. I would do everything I can to protect that guy and build around him because they have something special there.
For sure, man.
Especially up front, you gotta protect them with the offensive line first.
Gotta protect them.
Got to.
It'd be the same thing with Sam Darnold. They invested a high draft pick in him as well, and they haven't supported him with that offensive line. They had Le'Veon Bell as a running back, but they let him go. But getting on
that's brutal.
I like Sam Darnold. I like Sam Darnold, man. I think if it were me, if I were the Jets, I would trade that pick down and get more draft picks because I'm sure the Patriots would love to give everything for that number 1 pick. Bill Belichick would be all over. So he'd be all over some Trevor Lawrence. So I wouldn't pull the plug on Sam Darnold just yet.
I wouldn't either. But
no, I wouldn't either. I think he can play. I watched him in college, and
yeah, he can play.
I think he's a player. He just hasn't had the support. And I remember when my buddy Troy Aikman out of UCLA got drafted and he went to Dallas. My God, the poor guy took a beating, and it's a miracle he survived the beating he took because their offensive line was so porous. But he did, and then they finally built an offensive line that could protect him and the team, and he went to Super Bowls. I mean, he went from the most sacked to, all pro. So yeah, he's going to need help, and if you're smart, you do everything you can to help him and protect him.
I would trade down if I was the Jets and get a valuable asset in offensive lineman for sure.
Yeah.
Knows all
about
that.
That's a compliment to Sam, and really it is. And he's valuable still, and it would be giving him a chance to get to another squad that really needs him. And I think he can be very successful.
For sure.
And if it was me, if I were Trevor Lawrence, I might even pull an Eli Manning. I'm like, don't draft me.
For sure. Let's go to the
My buddy John Elway did that, right? John Elway was my high school quarterback. So we've known each other since high school, and then he got drafted. You remember the whole debacle, but I remember during that time when the Colts drafted him, I was like, John, are you really gonna play baseball for the Yankees? Off the record, he's like, no. He goes, I love football. I'm gonna play football, but don't tell them that. So he called their bluff, and they got the deal, worked out to Denver, and the rest is history.
This concludes our episode today, folks. We greatly appreciate the support. And if you're not a subscriber yet, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to get all our up-to-date content. And if you like this video, hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. We welcome you back next time.